I think the boxing right now we're in trouble. We got too many damn problems there that haven't got the right people that are addressing it too.
Lou Duva was boxing's most explosive personality, a trainer whose emotional outbursts and passionate corner work became legendary throughout 5 decades in the sport. The New Jersey native built main events into boxing's premier promotional company while developing champions who feared his temper more than their opponents.
They were all my champions. All my fighters were champions. And I treated them as champions.
But beneath that fiery exterior burned genuine hatred for certain fighters who crossed him. This wasn't just competitive intensity or promotional theater for television cameras. Duva carried deep personal vendettas that consumed him for years, sometimes decades. He remembered every insult, every contract betrayal, and every attempt to undermine his authority as boxing's most successful trainer-promoter combination. Some fighters made the fatal mistake of disrespecting Duva's family business or questioning his methods in public forums.
There's that right hand again, but Barkley answered with a good short left.
Others tried manipulating his emotional investment in their careers for financial gain, while showing no loyalty in return. A few committed the ultimate sin of abandoning him after he had sacrificed everything to build their championship reputations. Duva's anger wasn't calculated or strategic like other boxing power brokers. His hatred came from genuine emotional wounds inflicted by people he had trusted completely. When Lou Duva turned against someone, the entire boxing community knew about it because he couldn't hide his feelings or maintain professional facades. We're revealing 6 fighters who pushed Lou Duva beyond his emotional breaking point and discovered that crossing boxing's most passionate trainer meant facing years of professional warfare and personal animosity that never ended. 6. Michael Moorer. Starting at number 6 is Michael Moorer, the talented southpaw heavyweight whose ungrateful attitude and public disrespect toward Duva's training methods created a bitter feud that lasted long after their professional relationship ended. Moorer possessed a natural ability that amazed everyone at the gym, but his personality problems made him impossible to work with effectively. The relationship began deteriorating when Moorer started questioning Duva's strategic decisions and suggesting that his success came despite rather than because of his trainer's guidance. The fighter's arrogance grew with each victory as he began believing media praise about his natural gifts while dismissing the tactical preparation that made those victories possible. Duva invested countless hours developing Moorer's raw talent into championship-level skills, only to watch his student take credit for achievements that required years of patient instruction and strategic planning. The trainer felt like he was raising an ungrateful child who refused to acknowledge the sacrifices made for his benefit and career advancement. Training camp situations became tense as Moorer openly challenged Duva's authority in front of other fighters and media representatives. The disrespectful behavior embarrassed Duva and undermined his reputation as someone who could control difficult personalities and maintain discipline in professional environments. The breaking point came when Moorer made public statements suggesting that Duva was holding him back and that he could achieve greater success with different training approaches. This betrayal wounded Duva deeply because he had genuinely believed in Moorer's potential and invested emotional energy that went far beyond normal trainer-fighter business relationships. 5. Iran Barkley. At number 5 is Iran Barkley, the explosive middleweight whose wild lifestyle and training camp disruptions drove Duva to emotional exhaustion while trying to manage someone who seemed determined to waste his championship opportunities through self-destructive behavior and poor decision-making. Barkley possessed devastating knockout power that made him dangerous against any opponent.
Part he wants to win. He's landing right hands again.
But his inability to maintain professional discipline created constant headaches for Duva's organization. The fighter would disappear for days without explanation, missing scheduled training sessions and promotional obligations that were crucial for building his marketable image. Duva found himself constantly making excuses for Barkley's behavior to television executives, promoters, and media representatives who expected professional conduct from championship-level fighters. The trainer's reputation suffered as people began questioning his ability to control athletes who reflected poorly on his organization's standards. The personal frustration intensified when Barkley would perform brilliantly in actual fights, despite his terrible preparation habits and training camp behavior. Duva watched his student achieve success that could have been even greater with proper dedication and professional commitment to excellence. Contract negotiations became nightmares as Barkley's legal troubles and unpredictable behavior made it difficult to secure lucrative television deals and promotional agreements. Duva realized that managing Barkley was costing him opportunities with more reliable fighters who deserved better treatment and professional attention. The final straw came when Barkley's actions started affecting other fighters in Duva's stable, who began questioning why they had to follow rules that didn't seem to apply to everyone equally in the organization. Number 4 brings us Pernell Whitaker, the defensive master whose contract manipulation and legal warfare against Duva's promotional company created years of bitter litigation that damaged both men financially and professionally while destroying any possibility of future cooperation. The conflict began when Whitaker's legal team started challenging contract terms that had been agreed upon when the fighter was a relatively unknown prospect, seeking developmental opportunities. As Whitaker's market value increased, his advisors claimed that existing agreements were unfair and needed renegotiation or complete cancellation. Duva felt betrayed by someone he had invested significant time and money developing from amateur standout into professional champion. The trainer had provided financial support, training facilities, and promotional opportunities when other organizations showed little interest in Whitaker's unconventional fighting style. Legal battles consumed both parties for years, as lawyers argued over contract interpretations and promotional rights that had seemed straightforward when originally negotiated. The litigation costs threatened to destroy the financial benefits that both men should have enjoyed from Whitaker's championship success. Media coverage of their legal disputes created public relations disasters for both parties, as boxing writers portrayed their conflict as greedy businessmen fighting over money while ignoring the sport's best interests. The negative publicity damaged their reputations and made future business partnerships more difficult. 3. Vinnie Pienza. At number 3 is Vinnie Pienza, the Rhode Island warrior whose reckless fight selections and refusal to follow strategic advice created constant tension with Duva, who watched helplessly as his fighter ignored safety concerns and professional guidance in pursuit of dangerous but exciting matchups. Pienza's warrior mentality and crowd-pleasing style made him a fan favorite, but his willingness to accept fights against devastating punchers worried Duva about long-term health consequences and career longevity. The trainer tried steering his fighter towards safer opponents who could provide good learning experiences without unnecessary physical risk. The conflict intensified when Pienza started making public statements about being held back by overly cautious management that didn't understand his fighting spirit and willingness to face anyone. These comments embarrassed Duva and suggested that his protective instincts were really cowardice, disguised as professional wisdom. Training camp preparations became arguments as Pienza refused to focus on defensive techniques that could protect him against powerful opponents he insisted on fighting. Duva felt like he was enabling someone's path towards serious injury while being unable to prevent poor decisions through logic or emotional appeals. Media criticism followed when Pienza suffered brutal beatings in fights that Duva had privately opposed, but couldn't prevent due to contractual obligations and his fighter's public demands for exciting competition. Boxing writers questioned why experienced management couldn't control reckless decision-making. 2. Evander Holyfield. Number 2 is Evander Holyfield, the multiple heavyweight champion whose business betrayal and family manipulation tactics destroyed what should have been boxing's most successful long-term partnership while breaking Duva's heart through calculated emotional cruelty and professional abandonment. The relationship began when Holyfield was a promising cruiserweight, seeking guidance from experienced management who could navigate heavyweight politics and promotional complexities. Duva invested enormous emotional energy in developing not just Holyfield's boxing career, but also their personal friendship and mutual trust. Their partnership produced multiple championship victories and millions in earnings for both parties, creating what appeared to be the perfect trainer-fighter relationship based on shared success and genuine personal affection. Duva treated Holyfield like family and expected similar loyalty in return for his devotion. The betrayal came when Holyfield's mother and religious advisors convinced him that Duva's influence was harmful to his spiritual development and financial independence. The fighter began distancing himself from someone who had sacrificed everything for his success while listening to people who had contributed nothing to his achievements. Contract disputes escalated when Holyfield's new advisors claimed that Duva had been overcharging for services and taking advantage of their clients' trust during negotiations. These accusations devastated Duva because they attacked his integrity and honesty in business dealings with someone he genuinely loved. 1. Arturo Gati. And finally, at number 1, the most heartbreaking betrayal of all, Arturo Gati, the warrior whose abandonment of Duva after their greatest triumphs together represented the ultimate ingratitude and emotional cruelty that haunted the legendary trainer until his death. Gati wasn't just another fighter in Duva's stable. He was the son Lou never had, a courageous warrior who embodied everything the trainer loved about boxing's warrior spirit and never-say-die attitude. Their relationship transcended business as Duva invested his heart and soul in developing Gati's career. The partnership produced some of boxing's most memorable battles, as Gati's incredible heart and Duva's strategic guidance created epic encounters that defined an entire era of the sport. Duva's devotion to Gati went beyond normal trainer responsibilities, as he worried constantly about his fighter's health and well-being while trying to balance competitive success with long-term safety concerns. The trainer aged visibly during Gati's brutal wars, suffering emotionally with every punch his warrior absorbed. The betrayal came when Gati's handlers convinced him that Duva was too old and emotional to provide proper guidance for the final stages of his career. The fighter abandoned the man who had given him everything for advisors who promised easier management and less emotional involvement. Gati's departure destroyed Duva emotionally because it represented the ultimate rejection by someone he had treated like family, proving that even the deepest love and devotion meant nothing when people chose convenience over loyalty and gratitude. From ungrateful champions to heartbreaking betrayals, Lou Duva's passion created both triumph and tragedy. Which story hurt most? Subscribe for more emotional boxing sagas.